even thinking of like basic labor laws, or, especially after the pandemic, thinking of people being forced to go back to work in an office, or what's required of humans, what's a maximized work day, and how so much of that came out of exploitative labor systems in the Caribbean to begin with, and then in the American South. At the very base level, what is considered optimal workday was extracted, literally extracted from our bodies. So putting that in the forefront, how economic models, how really sophisticated like techniques for navigating the world were first optimized in the Caribbean as a whole, but specifically in Hispaniola, both Dominican Republic and Haiti, and how, just highlighting that, both the beauty and the progress, and as much, and or in conjunction with the pain, like so much was taken and so much was given. But it's time for us to be like, front and center in the reclaiming back. And, yeah, I don't know how to even, it's a very hopeful thing, because so many times we were told like, no one sees the Caribbean, but everybody sees it. Even at the very, I guess, starting at foundations again, in art class, in painting, we're always taught color theory, or of these techniques that are supposed to be the footwork for a lot of what we make. But what isn't said in that same space is that a lot of those theories were derived from other spaces, other advancements in other places. And so, for instance, Joseph Albers is someone who's always, canonized as like how to see, how to properly do all the techniques to make color work. And he traveled a lot into like Latin America, into the Caribbean, into India, and he was just, taking and sampling and doing all this stuff and concretizing it into one thing that goes into the archive. But that didn't mean that those weren't existing already in the world, and that they had particular purposes that many times were richer and had full lives. And he, it's just like skimming the top of these things that were in themselves so complex. And so I wanted to give that same footing to something like the color theory that's already within the Yoruba pantheon, which in the Dominican Republic and Haiti is Odun, or the 21 palos. But 21 palos is like Spanglish. It's horrible. 21 palos. So, but just the two branches of similar theology. A lot of times I use color symbolically in a way that's meant to invoke energies, and as much as it's something beautiful, the beauty happens in it, how it's activating what each color stands for. So that's one thing. I know I deviated. Right now I'm feeling blue in this cold space, and my mind is like a goldfish, so I might have to be reminded again.
No, I think that's really
All these empires going back 6,000 years or longer, and like even with them, realizing how much fiction building happened throughout, how many people tried to colonize time by resetting the clock every single time, all the way until like the last century. So against that wave, what can we do? And one thing that was really heartening is that despite all the tumult, geographies staying the same, but country borders being, redrawn willy-nilly, that the arts remained, that the spaces remained, that the concrete objects spoke of what was real versus, what someone else was like desiring and doing and undoing. So that maybe the things that we leave concretely behind can speak to future generations and, go counter the grain. if possible.